Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tyne here with Ted Ings. Today we'll be discussing Beyond Warranty, Stop the Leak, Keep the Customer. And Ted, this practical conversation, we're going to be addressing two of the biggest fixed ops challenges: hidden profit leaks inside the service department and customer drop off after the warranty period ends.
That's right, Sarah. You're so right. Spectrum Dealer Alliance is hosting the panel today. Want to go ahead and welcome our guests. Stephen Jameson is here, as well as Kyle McAvoy. Okay. Welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable, gentlemen. And our audience will find also no stranger to the roundtable. Marcos Wannenberg is here as well. So, gentlemen, welcome to the event and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted.
Well, to kick things off, Stephen, I'd love to come to you first and then Kyle and Marco. Just to set the stage, why do so many customers disappear after the warranty period on their vehicle ends? And what can dealers do to help prevent that transition?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Trust is the biggest one. I mean, we work so hard up front when we're delivering the vehicle to create a great trust with our customers and providing that experience during the warranty period. We're always preaching in the F&I office before they get to service that think bigger and think beyond that transaction, because everything that happens in the F&I office is designed not just to create profit that day, but to create a lifelong customer. And the things that we're doing up front give us the best chance to keep those customers long term beyond the the initial warranty period. So, you know, oldie but goodie products, things like service contracts, things like prepaid maintenance, are absolutely going to help build trust and build brand equity with that dealership. So, I don't like to solve process problems with product solutions, but really, the service contracts and prepaid maintenance are products that help create strong processes for the store to retain customers long term.
And Kyle, that's a great explanation, Stephen. What else are you seeing out there when it comes to how dealers can help prevent that transition from happening?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much similar to Steven. I mean, coming from our business in terms of helping dealers with post-sale service contract sales, we find that the VSC and prepaid maintenance together are probably the strongest opportunities for a dealer to continue getting customers coming back. I know that in some cases, manufacturers will provide, let's say, oil changes for a period of time. I know that happened on a vehicle that we had purchased. And I think another opportunity for dealers is when those are nearing the end to make sure they're proactively presenting prepaid maintenance products and VSC products to customers, because they're going to come in for that free oil change, but after that you might lose them. So having a process to identify when those are nearing the end and coming up with a strategy to pitch those programs at the appropriate time makes all the sense in the world.
And Marco, how do these practices impact technicians and the shop?
Well, of course, after the warranty period is over, that's when the real maintenance usually starts for the car, because they're 3, 4 years old. So they're going to need tires, they're going to need brakes. So, for example, tire and wheel packages can help us out too. But it's not just the what can we do, where can we do it? And I think about being very, very respectful of a customer's time, because I think that's one of the biggest things why they defect from dealerships. By pickup and delivery, by mobile service, etc., we can take the product sold by F&I and really cultivate on those and really make a big profit on it while keeping the customer's time in respect and keeping the drive full.
I like all that. Stephen, let me come back to you. What
Sure.
are, in your opinion, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that dealers have about customer loyalty after the warranty expires?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of data out there on this. It's painful to say, but this is anecdotally. I ask this question all the time to my customers, my general population, my general population friends, people not in the business. And when they ask me what I do for a living, and I'll often answer that by saying, "Where'd you buy your car at?" And because I'll say you probably saw a finance manager and you were offered these various products, and hopefully those products are mine. And I'm telling you, over half the time they can't even remember the name of the dealership that they bought their car from. The anecdotally is just the customer. We live and breathe in this world. If you're a car dealer, your dealership means everything to you. Customers don't feel that way, or the vast majority of them don't. So it's I think there's a big misconception that the customers are engaged as much into where they're going to service their vehicle after they buy it. A lot of times they can really remember where they bought the car from, not to mention where they're going to go take it for service. So that's where we need to engage and really work at keeping the customers there. So to me, that one of the biggest misconceptions is that they care enough about their dealership relationship as we think that they do. And it's our job to make them care, and make them care by making it a seamless experience for them, whether it's through the through the product experience or some of the things that Marco mentioned, that make it just as easy as possible for a customer to get back to the selling dealer to service.
Great point, Stephen. Kyle, a lot of the most savvy dealers and fixed ops directors, especially, know that the vehicle service agreement is a great retention tool because it keeps the customer coming back. Speak to us about some of the misconceptions that you've encountered along the way with dealing with so many dealers around the United States.
Well, I think one of the misconceptions is that the dealer thinks that his own people are following up with customers after they bought a vehicle, right? I mean, I've had a dealer sit in my office and tell me, "Oh, well, my F&I guys are following up with all their customers," and then the first thing I ask them is, "Okay, what about your service drive? Who's following up with them?" Right? And of course, they look at me, you know what? You're right. So I think the issue is there isn't a process in place for that to happen in most dealerships, right? And so they really need to consider having some sort of program or something that forces that process to happen. The other thing I wanted to add on the misconception on customers after the warranty expiration is I've also found that dealers don't realize how many customers service with them that did not buy a vehicle from them. And so
Totally.
often I've had a dealer group tell me 90% of their service drive is someone who actually bought a vehicle from them. Through their data, I prove half of their service drive customers actually did not buy a vehicle from them. So when they're looking about service and service retention, they can't just focus on people that bought a car from them. They have to be thinking about what we call the foreign visitors, or the brands and the people that live in their area that didn't buy from them but will service with them.
Makes a lot of sense. Marco, we just had on here Cox Automotive with their new 2026 fixed operations and ownership study, and they talked about some of these things, and they talked about service departments competing with independent shops, which really is the biggest competitor. It's not your fellow uh, dealer with the same nameplate a few miles or a few dozen miles away. It's the independent shop, and customers become more price sensitive post warranty. What are your thoughts on all this?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's a multifaceted approach when it comes to defecting to independent shops. It is partially trust.
Mm.
Dealerships just have the overall air over them that, we're just a big corporation, we don't care personally, etc. So I think that we can do a lot when it comes to personalization in the F&I process and the sales process and the service process. Second of all, the pricing, I don't think really is the biggest point, as long as you can show the value of your product, especially if you utilize, like I said before, the pickup and delivery and the mobile service, to where you respect the customer's time and you still go after the people that normally would defect. But we also see that with all these MPI videos, etc., that come forward, that the technician becomes more and more of a focal point of the dealership. So you build transparency and you build trust. I think we have a long way to go, but I don't think the battle is far from lost nor far from over. And having products like a vehicle service contract, warranty extensions, etc., those will greatly, greatly impact the outcome of how this is going to play out.
And Marco, as a follow up, if I may, the dealers who eventually, when the warranty expires, will end up competing with some of those independents. The advantage the dealer has, Marco, is that technician who's had all that training. I think it's you who told me a factory trained technician goes through more training than a medical doctor does on an annual basis. Just to follow up with you on that.
Well, you got to think of, like, I actually have an acquaintance of mine who is a surgeon. And he has respect for automotive technicians because he said the human body hasn't changed in thousands of years. The heart is where the heart is. As when it comes to these vehicles that we work on, every 2, 3 years, something new drops out. And let's not forget about the facelifts in between and all the software updates that we deal with. So you really have highly trained and capable people in the service department with OEM equipment that will scan the right vehicle with the right answers, and we can easily and quickly diagnose and repair your vehicle and stay within lines of the VSC service contracts, what is covered and what is not. So it's just a win-win.
Well, and thinking about how much that important relationship, Marco, having technicians that understand the product in depth like that, and have the training from the manufacturer on all of these updates to the technology and enhancements that are coming down the line. Stephen, thinking about this warranty retention strategy, a lot of dealers don't have maybe the awareness on what type of messaging resonates the most. And so, what strategies should dealers be thinking about when it comes to these post warranty retention communications?
Yeah, first of all, I don't know what Marco's talking about. Every year I get a little bit older. I think my body changes a little bit too. So I like the newer model or the older model of my body, but that's all right. The so and one last thing too on the independent shops as well. Something I wanted to share is going back to the service contract side of it is, our pricing, our labor rates have changed so much in the last couple of years, and it's always been a strategy that we've utilized to share with customers when you're purchasing a service contract, that you're buying the contract at today's rates for tomorrow's labor rate, and that's always been true, but it's never been more true than it's been in the last 3 or 4 years. So just another reason why that's resonates more with the customer now, and when they're when they're competing against an independent shop, if the perception is real or perceived that the price point is going to be better at an independent shop, well, let's take that decision out of the customer's hands by making it feel like it's going to be essentially a free repair by being done at the store. So yeah, in terms of the messaging, for post warranty reception, ease is something that we want to lean into. Create a VIP experience, and we've had some customers that have had success with membership type programs, where they feel like create a special experience for the customer that's coming into that store, and that messaging starts early. They've lumped the VIP component into a prepaid maintenance piece, or a service contract. And the other big thing I'd say to that is we're having a bigger trend with dealers branding their own service contracts. So where they're essentially taking a contract that we create for them, and that we're going to administer for them, but they're going to put their name on it, or it may not have their dealership name on it, but it's going to have a brand that's unique to them. Because we all know that if you're selling an OEM contract, they don't care where you go. Whether you go to a Ford store, they don't care if it's your Ford store or the guy down the street. So I think the trend for dealers to white label their own contracts is going to be a trend that can keep that messaging, I said once again, from the vehicle purchase point, and to really make the dealer stand apart from what's out there in the industry.
Kyle, this communication piece is, as Stephen pointed out, these VIP programs, making the customer feel special. I totally agree with that, because I mean, we've all heard of, we're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Those types of communications that sometimes go out that feel very impersonal. So how do you see dealerships effectively utilizing these post warranty retention messaging where it resonates the most?
Well, I think that the key to it is to try to tie the messaging to like triggering events, right? So they're not random. So in our world, we'll tie it to a recent service visit. We'll tie it to they're nearing the end of their manufacturer's warranty. We'll tie it to they're nearing the expiration of the service contract they bought from the dealer when they bought the vehicle. We look for ways to create messaging that just is relevant, right? It's relevant to a recent visit, so it doesn't seem so random and so out of the blue, right? And that we find provides a much better result and provides a bigger response, right? Because it's the brand is familiar to them because they were just there. The repair cost was a reality to them because they just paid it. There's all kinds of ways that makes that now information seem like a good idea to maybe investigate further to see how it might help them.
Yeah.
Very well said. And Marco, this is more important than ever when it comes to the strategies that really keep the customer coming back to, like you said, those technician relationships. And technicians really help also frame these communications and conversations.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's you can best compare it to going to a restaurant. You get the same menu in front of you as anyone else does, but what makes the experience memorable, what makes you coming back to that restaurant, is when the waiter or waitress approaches you on a personal level with a little bit of personality in it. Makes it fun, makes it engaging. Every decision is emotion based. So you will base your decision to go back to that restaurant on an emotion because you had a good time there. You got the same menu just like everyone else, but you got treated and that in a way that really, really resonated with you and stuck with you. So I think this is a model that we're seeing dealerships switch to, that less and less, including F&I, because it was used to be the joke of the man in the black glass box making the decisions, to now it's all out in the open and there's way more information available. Same with technicians, same with service. I think that we and fixed operations have started to cultivate the seeds planted by F&I as they should. We have started the process. We got a long way to go, but I think we're becoming more and more personable and more transparent in our daily operations.
Everybody, if I can, here we are in May. We're in the middle of the second quarter, looking out over the balance of the year. The industry is changing. There's a lot more transparency. Stephen, you started out talking about trust early in our conversation today. Things are more transparent. When I go to the dealer today, um, I get a video from the dealer, from the technician, telling me what they found on the vehicle. We never had that years ago. Okay, we never even saw that person, and now it's becoming more transparent. And to reference what Sarah said about the phone call from the company saying that my warranty is has expired. Customers have caught on to that. We've all had these calls, and the industry has become, I think, a lot more. Um, if you will, focused on the trust and the relationship, which I think is a great thing overall. Stephen, if you could, I'll start with Stephen, then over to Kyle, and then Marco. If you could give our dealers one actionable strategy um, for the balance of the year that would need to keep them focused on, the customer, starting right away, what would it be? What would you say if you had that conversation with our dealer audience?
Yeah. So, there's the one actual strategy, coming from my perspective is get a great sales to service process in place from, it's something that's been talked about for years. This is not a new idea. Get a great sales to service process in place in the delivery process. Get them comfortable going to the service department right away. They will be going there for warranty work. Hopefully, they're going there for their initial maintenance work. But get a great sales to service process in right away. And shameless plug for doing what we do for a living, but it does make a huge difference. Is your service contract penetration is the lifeblood of future high dollar service repairs outside of the manufacturer's warranty. We have the data. They are twice as likely to come back to your service department the for major repairs outside the warranty if they are buying a service contract. So it's just critical for the sales process, the service retention, and then the next car that they will be buying and servicing with that store.
Kyle, over to you. If you had that conversation, actionable strategies.
They should have a post-sale VSC program, right? I mean, why wouldn't you take the people that didn't buy, follow up with them through the entire life cycle of the ownership of the vehicle? And why wouldn't you take those service drive customers coming in that didn't even buy a vehicle from you and but are obviously loyal enough to be servicing their vehicle with you? Why wouldn't you be introducing them to that product? Maybe they didn't buy it from the dealer they bought the car from. So you have to put some sort of process in place to be touching these customers, and you don't do it once, you don't do it twice, you do it through the entire life cycle of the ownership of the vehicle, because you never know when that idea is going to resonate best for them.
All right. And Marco, if you want, bring it home.
I would say, as for management, empower your people to deliver the personal experience. Let them have a little bit of free reign to impress on a personal level. Second of all, stop treating warranty as a necessary evil. If you do not perform your warranty repairs in a timely manner and to perfection, what would make a customer want to come back and spend their money with you? So stop treating warranty like a necessary evil. It's your time to shine. You want to talk about retention? Absolutely execute your warranty processes and your repairs to a T, to perfection, including returning the vehicle cleaner than it was when you got it.
All right.
And
Sarah,
don't move the seat.
Well,
That.
all the little things, right, Sarah?
oh, absolutely. Great advice shared here with us today from Spectrum Dealer Alliance. And Ted, exciting conversations continue to unfold here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Everybody, want to thank Stephen Jameson, Kyle. Thank you so much for being with us today. Marcos Wannenberg. Everybody, if you'd like, Spectrum Dealer Alliance has hosted this panel. You can follow the URL that you see on screen and learn more about what they do. And congratulations to all of you online, certainly leading the way in this conversation. So on behalf of Sarah Van Tyne, I'm Ted Ings, and thank you for joining us today on the panel at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Sarah. Bye.
Thanks.